Well, sometimes a scape turns out because you've thoroughly planned it out and it just works out perfectly. Other times it turns out just by accident. And then there's the time that turns out because of pure perseverance. You just don't give up. This scape here, it's mostly because of the second option and a little bit of the third. Really not any of the first. Welcome back to the small scape. Yes, I have completed the 20-gallon long, my final tank in the Nano Nook that I wanted to get just right. And sometimes you just have to throw that out the window and say, I'm just gonna complete it, and pick a couple items that you really want to use, whether it's the substrate, do you want a specific color? I usually go with black sand, it's my favorite. This time, for whatever reason, I wanted a sand-colored sand. That's what I call it, sand-colored sand. Carib Sea Naturals, that's what I used in this tank, and I had a very specific piece of driftwood that inspired the build, and it was a real stinker. Now, I also picked one single plant, and believe it or not, when I show this to you, I stuck with that one single plant, vallisneria. I would like to title this scape. Now, if I do it by the time of editing, I'll flash it up what I'm calling this, but it's a very simple build with only one plant, vallisneria, and driftwood inspired. It's just a very calm, I wouldn't even say a beach scape because there is no land, there is no beach part, which I wish there were. That'll be another day. But this was all about the Tetras. I have black neon Tetras. Yes, green neon Tetras are still on the bucket list. They're not going anywhere, but I have a dozen black neon Tetras that I think are really digging the scape. So let's check it out, see what I added, and I'll tell you the funny things along the way. Well, here is the scape complete. I am very happy how it turned out. It was kind of an accidental process, a little trying out different things. And the funny thing is, I expected this to be a very long and drawn out. I can't sort of decide what I'm going to do, so I was just going to be trying some things out, and it came together so quickly that I didn't even tape it. I actually was just planning to get an idea of what wasn't going to work and then keep going. So it came together very quickly, and this is what we have. Now, the original scape had only vallisneria and the single piece of driftwood, which I really love, and I knew I wanted it in this build. I have resisted the urge to add different plants. I love Anubias. I usually add different plants, and I have some other plants waiting in the wings that I really wanted to use, but I resisted the urge and I just wanted it to be a single species of plant, which is vallisneria, and once it grows in even more, I think it's going to look really great. Now, the very large rock that you see on the left, I have been eyeing that in the garage for a long time, and as you can see, it's a very large rock. So a lot of my nano tanks, I can't use it. So a lot of the larger tanks, it would need a lot of other friends to be used in the scape. So I tried it out. I knew I wanted black rock in here because when you have white, you want black, and since the sand is a very light colored, I knew I wanted a very dark rock. So this one actually worked out. So I knew I had my second player, the center driftwood, and this large rock. And luckily, I had a rock in the garage right next to it that's much smaller on the right-hand side that worked out very nicely, kind of capping out the right-hand side. Now, the large piece of driftwood in the back that forms kind of a wall, that one I was trying out because I wanted to block the filter. And we decided to keep this filter in here, even though it's not adjustable. It's kind of coming on a little strong, but with this piece of driftwood in the back, it blocks it perfectly, and it forms just a very nice dark wall, because all of my tanks on the Nano Nook have black sand. So this being very bright, I knew I needed to bring a lot more dark into it so it wasn't so jarring on the eyes. And I really like how that piece of driftwood forms kind of a wall and gives them some privacy in the back if they want to hang out in some little cozier corners. Now, I was also trying out this front piece, the horizontal piece of driftwood. I knew I liked it, but I was assuming that I would put it vertically. But I was just playing with it because I didn't really have any kind of interest going horizontally in the tank, and I wanted some sort of suggestion of horizontal because I have that band of black neons. Love them. Green neons are still on my bucket list, no worries, but I am loving the black neons. They're beautiful, especially when they swim all together in a school in one of my tanks. It is such a great thing. I'm so happy I finally have that on my wall. And my centerpiece, my little gourami, he's doing great. Emmett, he is very special, but he is loving this tank. Everybody's getting along great. The clown plecos have lots of little areas to dig and go under the driftwood. The shadow cats, once I get little glimpses of them, which is really fun, they are having a ball too. I was going to add some smaller black rocks. I do have a little stack here. I was playing with it, but I wanted to keep things very simple, and I didn't want it to look cluttered. It was just looking cluttered to me. You'll see one single rock on the top of the driftwood for no other reason than it's just holding down those little pieces of accent driftwood that I added to until they want to stay down by themselves, and then I will probably glue them a little bit and be done with that, and the rock will come out. But in the total, all I really used are those 3 rocks. The little tiny one will come out, and 1, 2, 3, 5 different pieces of driftwood and a single plant. I love how it turned out. It's very relaxing and calming to look at. I call it Florida inspired, even though it's really not, but just the color of the sand. And I think everybody is doing just great in here. So let me know how you like it. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Like I said, I really wish I could have taped this, but I didn't think it would come together so fast. I think we'll just go with this. So I hope you enjoy the new Scape, and I will see you in the next one.